Shalom Aleichem, we're going to learn a Sicha, Lech Aleph. It's also a siyum on Maseches Rosh Hashanah. It's a deep Sicha, in other words, it goes through a very complicated topic, and that's the topic of Birchas Kohanim and davening, but it's a very rich Sicha, and it's very enlightening on the role of davening and Birchas Kohanim in general by the giving brachas. On the pasuk in the beginning of the parasha, I'll bless those who bless you. Rabbi Akiva teaches in Maseches Chulin that when Kohanim bench Yidden, the Eibishter blesses Kohanim. As it says over there, Koisav Archos B'nei Yisrael, that's in Parshas Nasai. Rabbi Yishmael says from there, in the words Koisav Archos B'nei Yisrael, we learn that Kohanim should give a bracha to Yidden. How do we know that the Kohanim themselves get blessed? Within that bracha, it says, the Samash from B'nei Yisrael, V'ani Avarchem, and I will bless them. Rabbi Akiva says, no. Over there, from the Parshas Nasai, we learn about the Yidden getting blessed from Kohanim. We don't know that the Kohanim get blessed from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When it says, V'ani Avarchem, all that means is it's not that I'm going to bless the Kohanim, I'm going to bless the Yidden. In other words, I'm going to agree with the Kohanim to bless the Yidden. So where do I know that the Kohanim get blessed? Ma'avarchem avarchecha in Parshas Lech. I will bless those who bless you. So there it says, Yishmael Kahana, Yishmael, who was a Kohen and was the first opinion, helps the Kohen. He always makes it easier for Kohen. How does he help it? Because he says that the Birchas Kohanim, the bracha to the Kohanim, is together with the bracha of the Am Yisrael, and versus Rabbi Akiva, who says that it's from Parshas Lech. We have to understand what's the basis for the argument between Rabbi Yishmael and Rabbi Akiva. Why does he not accept that Rabbi Yishmael, that V'ani Avarchem goes on the Kohanim? And also, when Rashi explains the opinion of Rabbi Yishmael, he says that what does it mean Rabbi Yishmael helps the Kohanim? Misbarchim im ash'ar, they get blessed with Am Yisrael. Now, the argument between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yishmael is only which pasuk they get blessed. So what difference does it make the fact that they get blessed within Parshas Nasai and over here they get blessed from Parshas Lech? What's the nafkamina? What's the difference? So the Rebbe says like this, and over here the Rebbe goes into a very deep idea that's explained a lot in Chassidus. Chassidus explains the difference between a bracha and tefillah. A bracha comes from the word brecha, which is like a pool, it's a container of water. You put wine there, and from there you pour into something else. In other words, the container pours into something else. So what does that mean? It means bracha is you're pulling something down from something that's already there. It's already in the container. You're just taking it out. For example, like you see by Yaakov Avinu, he blesses Ephraim and Menashe. He puts his right hand on Ephraim, and Yosef tries to correct him. Now, once Yaakov learned that Menashe is the oldest, why doesn't he just change the bracha from Ephraim to Menashe? But the truth is, because with a bracha, it's already designated. All you're doing is downloading it. So there's not much you can do to change it. So a bracha is already is. However, davening, you say Yehidatz, and you're trying to create a new Datsan by the Eibishter. It's not there yet. You're trying to create a new mile, a new bracha, a new thing. Says the Rabbi, but that limitation that a bracha only creates something only downloads something that's there, it doesn't create anything new. That's only when a human being creates the bracha. However, in the bracha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu has nothing to do with limitations. And Hashem, within the bracha of Hashem, you have the Maila of davening as well. You can bring in something new. And that Maila of Hashem's bracha is found within Birchas Kohanim. Why? Because Birchas Kohanim is a mitzvah. The Kohanim are doing it with the shlichus of Hashem. And shluchish l'adam k'moisei. And Adam, as refers to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Adam Elyon, the ultimate being. So they have the power of the bracha of Hashem. And we learn that from, it says, Yisa Hashem Pana Veilecha. And Chazal say in Gemara Brachas regarding Birchas Kohanim, Hashem will turn his face to you. Hashem says, how can I not turn my face if they follow all the mitzvahs and they take even an extra upon themselves? Which means that Birchas Kohanim is Hashem turning his face. He's doing something unusual. So it's not just giving what already is. Because I'm so happy, I'm going to turn my face and I'm going to give something new. That's Masih Pana. So, and when we hear this, Birchas Kohanim is similar to davening. Something higher than, say, the Shtalshel, something higher than what already exists within the universe. Now, we can understand what's the upside of saying V'ani Avarchem is the source versus Avarchem Avarchecha. What's Ani Avarchem? Ani, the Eibishter, Atzmus Mahos, the essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, saying, I'm blessed. So Rabbi Yishmael, Messiah Kana, Rabbi Yishmael is helping the Kohanim by saying that Ani Avarchem from that pasuk of Hashem Himself, L'mayla Meseder Shtalshus, higher than this universe, is giving the bracha. However, if you learn the source of bracha, depending on Avarchem or Barchecha, that's a lower. It doesn't say Ani. It just says I, but it doesn't say Ani. Says the Rebbe, but Avarchem Barchecha still means me. So why can't that be Atzmus Amachos? How do we know that it's only the Seder Shtalshus? So we're going to have to explore this deeper. And over here is where the Siyum on Rosh Hashanah, the Siyum on Rosh Hashanah enters. Just to give context, this Sikha was said in Tafshin Beis in 1952 on the 8th yahrzeit of the Rebbe's father. And it was at the beginning of the Farbrengen. The Rebbe would always make a Siyum in honor of the yahrzeit of his parents. And the Rebbe really, explores it from a fascinating perspective, and then later on, even in the unedited version, in other words, what the Rebbe said at the time, the Rebbe continued to explore various lessons of the Siddur. Says the Rebbe, let's explore Maseches Rosh Hashanah. What does it say at the end? It says in the Mishnah, Rabbi Gamliel says a chazan can do the mitzvah on behalf of other people, and that's regarding Musaf of Rosh Hashanah. Amar Rab Shimon Chasida, says Rab Shimon Chasida, that this Rabbi Gamliel he would make it easy, he would make it unobligatory. Even the people who are living in the field, they don't have to daven, they can just rely on the chazan who will do it for them. And how much more so the people who are in shul that rely on the chazan? Says the Gemara, no. Why? How much more so the people who are in shul, they have an option. They're not oinus, they could daven. Versus the people who are stuck in the field, they have no option. And they bring the raya that there's a difference between people who are in shul and not shul from Abba Breida ben Yamin Barchia, who says regarding Birchas Kohanim that the people in shul who are behind the Kohanim, they don't get the bracha. However, the people who are in the Sadis do get the bracha. They're in the shul. Why don't they get the bracha? Because if you're in the shul, you have to make sure that the Kohanim are facing you. If you're in the Sadis, it makes no difference. So what do you see? There's a difference between the people in the shul and the people in the Sadis, so you can't make them kal v'chomer. Says the Gemara, so that's true. So when Ravin came from Eretz Yisrael and he quoted Rav Yaakov Bar Idi in the name of Rav Shimon Chasida and said, no, the original quote was misquoted. Rabbi Gamliel says only the people in the field are yotze through the chazan, but because they are anus, but the people in the shul are not. Now the fact is, we just brought a raya from Birchas Kohanim to davening. Says the Rebbe, based on what we just explained, that Birchas Kohanim and davening are not just, somewhat similar, but they're actually the same because they both come from L'mayla Mishtalshalos. We could understand why you could bring a raya from Birchas Kohanim to davening. Says the Rebbe, if it wasn't Birchas Kohanim, if it was a regular bracha, you can't bring a raya from a bracha to davening because they're different. A bracha is something that's already here within Seder Shtalshus, so you're just downloading it. So over there, what's important? The person that you're blessing. So therefore, you need to have the person in shul has to do something. They have to make sure that they're facing the Kohanim. But with davening, you might say, because you're creating a new ratzin, it's irrelevant. If the guy's in shul, at a shul, it's regarding the person who's actually davening, not about the person who I'm davening for. It's irrelevant. So you wouldn't be able to bring a raya from a bracha. But because Kohanim, Birchas Kohanim and davening is the same, they're both l'mayla mishtalshalos. So from here you learn that if Birchas Kohanim, which is l'mayla mishtalshalos, you still need the person to make an effort and be in front of the Kohen, not behind the Kohen. From here you learn that davening as well, you have to make a minimum effort. Because you wouldn't throw Birchas Kohanim, you don't have to, the Kohen makes all the effort because he's doing l'mayla mishtalshalos. And the person who he's benching for doesn't have to make an effort. You see he has to make an effort. So to davening, the person has to make an effort, and if they're in davening, they're in the shul, they have to daven. The only people who are yetz are the people who are honest. Says the Rebbe, but you could say that the raya of the Gemara is even stronger, because it's a maila in Birchas Kohanim over davening itself. Because regarding davening, the chazan is yotzi, the people in the field, as long as there's 9 people within the shul to make a minyan, and then the chazan can daven. However, Birchas Kohanim, even if the whole minyan is Kohanim, so there's not Tisha Oinin, there's not 9 people answering, you still do Birchas Kohanim. And who are you blessing? In other words, Birchas Kohanim does not need Tes Shemin, and davening does. What's the Maila? Why? Because if you understand, the one thing that Bracha has over Tefillah, davening is a request. Hashem might say yes, he might say no. Birchas Kohanim, on the other hand, is a bracha, means it's already there. It's definitely going to happen. I just have to download it. And it means that the person who's giving the bracha is higher from the source of bracha, so he can command the bracha what to do. So even though davening is higher from bracha, that's because based on the source of davening, that davening is higher than the source of bracha, the source of davening. But the Maila bracha is that the person who gives a bracha stands higher than the bracha. So Birchas Kohanim means that the Kohen is standing higher than this level of Maila Mishtalshus, therefore he's able to command it. It's amazing. And that's why by davening, you need to have help from the people listening. But by the Kohen or Baruch, you don't need, because the Kohen is above. He's not Lamata, he's above the Seder Shtalshus. And over here, that makes the proof of the Gemara even sweeter. If Birchas Kohanim, that the Kohen who does not even need the minyan to answer, nevertheless, the Am that is standing behind the Kohen doesn't get blessed, and they have to do the effort. How much more so davening that needs a minyan? How much more so the people in the minyan have to daven? So based on this, we can understand that the machlokes of Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yishmael is like this: when the Kohen blesses the Am Yisrael, is he higher than Ishtashlus or not? What does that mean? Is it that he gets picked up from Seder Shtalshus, or that Hashem does it on his behalf? So if he gets picked up from Seder higher than the universe by just giving the bracha, so he doesn't need the help of the Kohen of the Eibishter. So Hashem is now saying, "I'll bless the Kohen." But according to Rabbi Akiva, the Kohen mitzaratzmi doesn't get higher. He needs the help of Hashem. So the words of Ani Avarachem means Hashem comes and helps the Kohen do the bracha l'mayla Seder Shtalshus. So I don't have a source for anything else. I don't have a source that the Kohen gets blessed. So I only have the source of Va'avarcha Mevarchecha. Now, you cannot bless the Kohen more than what he blessed the Yidden. And the Kohen mitzad atzmei, the Kohen on his behalf without Hashem's help, is only within Seder Shtalshus. So Va'avarcha Mevarchecha means it's a bracha within Seder Shtalshus, because what made the L'mayla Seder Shtalshus, according to Rabbi Akiva, was higher. So that's where, according to Rabbi Akiva, the bracha is within Seder Shtalshus, and according to Rabbi Yishmael, if the bracha is l'mayla Seder Shtalshus, and you learn it from Bani Avarachem, and he's the one that blesses the Kohen.